Islam. This is Minister Saeed Al-Mahdi. And today is Rajab the 29th, here to give the news. Today's lecture is entitled The Red Pill. There's a famous hadith that many Muslims in all the sects, Sunni Islam, Shia Islam, Salafi Islam, the Nation of Islam, Wardi Muhammad Islam, right? All these different sects know this hadith that the Dajjal will come in the last days with two paths, right? In his right hand he will have paradise, but it will be fire, and in his left hand it will look like fire, but it will really be like paradise. So I'm here to convince you to take the red pill, which is the left hand, right? So I'm going to start off by proving that I'm the Minister Saeed Al-Mahdi to come in the last day. Ain't that right? The red pill. According to the Moorish crown, I will come with a new mission, just like the prophet. 2015, the inspiration came to me in the wilderness of Balboa Park. It's a very big park out there in California, Van Nuys area. Right, I took the oath and I was initiated into the Moorish crown. So if you trust me so far, email me at onerightlyguided@gmail.com, the number onerightlyguided@gmail.com. If you believe that it can happen like that, then you want to contact me. The ancestor said that I will do as the prophet has done. I will cancel all the hearsay and establish new principles. This is because of all of the sectarianism that the prophet had prophesied to come in the last day, right? Sunni Islam, Salafi Islam, ISIS Islam. This is all a reaction of the Ottoman Empire. I did a lecture on the Gog and Magog. You can take a look at how the white man took over the reins of Islam and actually set up a shop, set up his own entire empire in the Holy Land. Right, the Ottoman Turks are now called Saudi Arabians, and they're the ones who are going around bombing sacred temples of the Moorish crown. They over there creating famine in Yemen and Syria and Palestine and Boko Haram in Nigeria. Ain't that right? It's actually prophesied by the prophet where he said that Satan's horns will come out of Najd. It's like, why would Satan's horns come out of the land where the prophet liberated? This is supposed to be like the capital of the Islamic nation. How is Satan going to be able to rise his horns in the capital? It's because the prophet had also said that his family will be sold into slavery. They will be conquered by these white people. All that is mentioned in the lecture, Gog and Magog, right? According to Moorish law, we know that these white folks, these Ottoman Empire, these Europeans in the deli stores in Harlem, speaking Arabic, we know that they are the descendants of these Ottoman Turks, these Saudi Arabian people, right? I have to come to cut and cancel all the hearsay, stealing of the birthright, right? The Nation of Islam with the false Mahdi. Like, there's certain things you have to have according to prophecy to be called the Mahdi, to have that name. Dr. York, Drew Ali coming with the name of a prophet and noble. Like, we have to really understand what it means to be a prophet, and I did a lecture on that called A Prophet According to Moorish Law. Right? The prophet said, my nation will be given over 3 times to a people with broad faces and the smallest of eyes, whose faces will be as if the skin was peeled. Right? One thing about the Prophet Muhammad is that he was an analogy man. The true Arab uses analogy. This is a part of our culture. We use analogy to get the message home. So to have peeled skin is to have no melanin. And we know white people's skin be peeling. So this necessitates or adjudicates the opposite polarity. So since we know the color of those who will come and take the prophet's people, peeled skin, then we also have the opposite polarity. They have to be black. The Arabs have to be black because we now know how the enemy's gonna look. Ain't that right? And this is why I had to rise in the West. Because of the prophecy of Gog and Magog. This is it. These are Gog and Magog's children, who Dor Kornain had built the wall against, right? Right, so I have to rise from the West, according to the prophecy, because the covenant will always remain in the children of Abraham. The inheritors of the Quran the teachers, the preachers, the ministers, right? They have to be from a particular bloodline. Ain't that right? So when this man comes, it's going to be strange, unusual, because of the mass fuckery and deception that's going to be in the mainstream. Everything that's going to be already happening when the Mahdi comes is going to be the very reason why he's going to be called strange and unusual. So the Mahdi has to rise in the West because the descendants of Abraham are there. The Ottoman Empire, Turks came in the 13th century and started to have a mass extermination, a mass killing, a mass slaughtering and enslavement. The red fez wearing white man came and conquered the black man and brought him over here into America and taught him a new name, a culture, and religion, gave him a new identity, a new name, a new food and dietary law. Ain't that right? Mosai says in 30:55, a person who gains knowledge but doesn't practice what he knows but gains a profit for his knowledge is called Dalika Kan Yufaki. Because that's what a lot of people in the West are following today. A bunch of Yufakis, a bunch of fake scholars. You see what I'm saying? A person who gains knowledge but doesn't practice what he knows, but he still uses that knowledge to make money, right? That's called a Yufaki, a fake, dishonest person. We got a lot of those people wearing religious garments, ain't that right? In the name of religion, trying to misguide the people. Because of the signs of the end times are connected to me and the Dajjal, you have the two pills, blue and red. Ain't that right? It's a prophecy, right? The general public shall be dishonest because they're going to be led by dishonest people. Your leaders are your examples, your role models. That's why they have celebrity status. The reciters of Quran will be transgressors. That's because they got the knowledge of the Quran, but they don't practice what they know. So these people will be revered, though, respected, highly praised. False testimony will be accepted because most people will be Sunnis and Salafis, following all of these scholars, like the one who rose up and nudged, as the Prophet said. And nudged is where Satan's horns will come out of, because that's where Abdul ibn Wahhab, the Wahhabism doctrine, came out of, right? Salafism. It came out of the land of Satan. It rose out of a city where the Prophet said you'll find the reciters will be the most transgressive, and that people will take their oath. Testimony will be accepted by false testimony. Sins will be committed openly, because now you see Islamic celebrities right there with a person like Donald Trump right there in the open, right? Islamic celebrities are really agents of the Dajjal. Okay? Sinfulness and rebellion will be rife. False allegations will be a common thing. African Americans have no relationship with their family ties. The scholars are the successors of the prophets. Verily, the prophets never inherit gold and silver, but rather knowledge. That's because we know that true knowledge, the true scholars of Islam, will always be the Moorish crown, because these are the things that are succeeded, given over as an inheritance. See, because black folks don't have any family history, any African American real history about who they are as a people, they get educated by these Ottoman Turks, right? These people with peeled skin. They are now getting their Islam from these people. And even those who claim to be prophets and Mahdis, they got it from the white man too, because they got the information from the lodge, right? So now it's really a war of what to respect. You're right. So let me ask you this. Is it sane to trust the poor righteous teacher over the police, GMO foods, or Western medicine? Planned Parenthood, vaccines, and poisoned food? George Bush over Malcolm X? Donald Trump over Francis Cress Wilson? How about Joe Biden over Dick Gregory? Right? You see how easy it is to answer that question, black man? But yet you will deny the Mahdi because I'm going against all of these mainstreams. You will deny me, but it's easy for you to say, oh, I would trust a poor righteous teacher over the police, over GMO foods, over Western medicine, right? You'll be able to confess it with your mouth, but you won't be able to practice it in your behavior. Ain't that right? The Quran shall be an inheritance. Awarded kitab alladhi satafay min ibadi. Allah has to choose the inheritors of the book. This is a blessing, a light that the Prophet says should be placed in him, Ali, and his selected descendants. We're talking about the 12 crowns. Up to Qaim al-Mahdi, this is my name. Allah selects the president of the Islamic kingdom. Huwa alladhi ja'al lakum khala'if fil ard. Right? Allah shall designate this. So you see, today Islam does not teach this very thing, but they be reciting the Quran all day, right? Every Ramadan. Allah says, those who preach Balighu Rasulullah, the messages of God. We are the ministers, the preachers. The Prophet said, and from my people of my house will be 12 imams of guidance. So why don't the people know this information? Because they're being followed by evil scholars, you faqirs. The ancestor said, the homeless fugitive and a lone man will be separated from his family, who will lose his father, who will be surnamed with his uncle's name, and whose name will be like a prophet's name, is the man of the banner. Yeah, because my own family rejected me once they found out I was the Mahdi, right? So I became a homeless and a fugitive and an alone man. Ain't that right? My name is Joshua. I got the name of Jesus, Yeshua. And my surname is Saeed, or Nuki, named after my uncle, a chief. I want y'all to know something. From this day forward, whoever hears and sees what I'm putting out of evidence, like, you're responsible for yourself. This is called, Yamabat. This is the day of resurrection. I'm really exposing shit now. The red pill. I am the red pill. Relationships will be broken off. Carnal desires will be widely followed. I mean, is it not easy to see? Homosexuality. Like, the purpose of rain is to fertilize the earth to produce fruit, right? That's natural. Like, the purpose of semen is to enter it into a woman so that she can produce you children. You see the analogy? So when you following your carnal desires and you're doing anti-life behavior, like fucking a man in the ass, that is following your carnal desires. Bloodshed will be considered a minor thing, and forbearance will be looked at as weak, right? That's why respect is in question. People respect now bullies. See, the Negro in public, when they hear me preaching, they so afraid of the white man in the presence of police that they can't even respect what I'm doing. Like, you don't see me trying to wake you up, black man? They're so afraid of the white man that oppression has become a matter of pride. They like, oh, fuck, I can't fuck with that. You see, all these things I'm talking about are happening right now because these are all the signs of the end times, the Akira, the Khaybi, right? This is all shit that's happening now. These are all prophesized. When you see these things, you better know that the Dajjal and the Mahdi are synonymous with these time periods. The most important one on that last hadith was the evil lying ministers, because this is basically the Freemasons, right? These are the ones who study religious doctrine, eschatological end time science, and then they come before the people and lie, right? Masons use false tales, false explanations to mislead those who deserve to be misled about its symbols. This is what Albert Pike said. He said Masons use false explanations to mislead those who deserve to be misled about its symbols. So they use symbols and then they give you a false explanation about it. But the Prophet has given us clear explanation about these symbols, right? The most important one is the eye. The eye is the most important symbol of the Dajjal. So anybody who comes under this Masonic symbol, the eye and the compass, are actually agents, right? Masons use false explanations to mislead those who deserve to be misled. They want to take you away from me. They are aware of the Mahdi, so the duty is to hide behind religion to do Satan's work. This is actually a oath that they took in the lodge. That's why you see niggas like Sarnetta, they don't ever claim no creed, because they get it from their daddy, the white man, who said, Hanley P. Hall, the true Mason is not creed bound. He realizes with the divine illumination of his lodge that a Mason has religious knowledge. His religious knowledge must be universal. Christ, Buddha, or Muhammad, the name doesn't mean anything, for he recognizes only the light and not the bearer. He worships at every shrine, bows at every temple, right? This is Sa Neter. This is the lodge. This is Dr. York teaching all these different, you know what I'm saying? Because the ministers are evil. So you see, they only have advantage over the game right now is because they've been studying our knowledge, and then they have been sent by Satan to deceive man. That's why they make the movie The Matrix, right? One man coming to unplug you from the Matrix, right? This is the red pill, y'all. Trying to tell you I'm the red pill. Y'all better come and take this pill. But you see, because they study religion, they know that the right hand represents righteousness. That's why the prophet said in the hadith, that he will come with his right hand. It will look like paradise, but it will be hell, because Masons know religious symbolism, because our symbolism is right hand righteousness, left hand wickedness. We never take anything with our left hands. We never shake hands with other people with our left hands. So you see, the reason why the prophet said that he will come with the right hand with paradise, but it will be hell, is because these will be niggas who will hide behind religion, as the Mason says. Bow at every temple. War equals peace equals famine. Iraq, Afghanistan, anybody? Yeah, because this will be another sign of the Dajjal, is that he will come like a fucking thief in the night, bombing and blowing up everybody. He's a monster. And he always leaves his trails, but this was already prophesied. Ain't that right? And only the Mahdi will come and clear this shit up, as the hadith says. But a lot of Muslims are not fully aware that they're being misguided by the Dajjal. What did Albert Pike say? He said the Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the causes of the Illuminati between the Zionists and the Islamic world. So you see, even Albert Pike knows about the Great War that's coming between the Mahdi and the Dajjal. They know that. So they have an agenda. Right? One of the signs is that the Dajjal shall jump into the seas. The sun will follow him. Right? A mountain of smoke will go before him, and a white mountain will follow him. This is analogy again. We got more analogy. What that means is that it will be a time of advanced technology, because man will be able to get things done faster than the rotation of the sun, because the sun, right, is nature's clock. If you're able to do things faster than the sun's movement, then you have now beat time, in the sense, not really literally, but you're able to get things done faster. So this is what it means by jumping into the seas and the sun will follow him. The smoke will precede him. That's because war will come, and then famine will follow. In times of famine will be mistaken to be a mountain of food. He shall be mountain on a white ass, because that's the plain, right? One step of that ass will be 1 mile. The mile will take 1 step, and it will go the mule will take 1 step, and it will go 1 mile. That's because that's a plain. So the prophet was prophesying about Syria and Palestine, showing you that Iraq and Afghanistan and what you're seeing all over there is a sign of the Dajjal. But why are you fucking even scholars? You fakis ain't telling you that. Only those who listen and trust in the 12 princes, right? They can only be called mu'minin. Min ya'min ayya fahum. Those who trust and listen in Allah's signs can be called Muslim. 3053. So you see, the Mahdi is the red pill. I am the sign of God. We are the ones that the ideas come through. This is what it means to be like the prophets, as prophesied. 6 Moorish crowns said, in the Mahdi, you'll see a resemblance of the prophets. You'll see a resemblance of Moses, Jesus, Joseph, and Muhammad, right? So I'm like Moses because I'm in the land of bondage, right? Sent to a people without knowledge of self. That's the African American Negro. I have direct connection to the Kuru, the Holy Spirit tells me what to do, right? And the Pharaoh of this age is the Jah. So I have his story. Jesus is because I have his name. Joshua is my name, right? Yeshua, right? He was a minister against the evil scholars of his time, right? The evil scholars is like Sa Netta, Siraj Wahaj, Mufti Minik, right? These are the evil scholars. My duty is to attack them, right? And I came to teach spiritual reformation. That's what Jesus came to teach. Islam. Joseph was basically accused, right, of raping a woman, so he had a bad record. They accused me of assaulting a police officer, right? Sent me to jail, and I had to go through that and that trauma. My own family basically sold me to the white man because I told him I was who I was. My interpretation of dreams, my interpretation, my revelation, the RGY Nation, what I got in 2015, once the family heard about it, you became a fucking weirdo. So I'm like my father, Muhammad, because I'm an activist, a preacher, and I have a religious movement. This is what the prophet had. See, we're living in a time where people who have tolerance for the ignorant motherfuckers, they looked at as weak, and the most nasty, ratchet, disgusting motherfuckers are the most, basically they look at them like honorable because of cowardice. So cowardice became common for most people. And this is why you got men acting like women and women acting like men, because men have forgotten how to be men. They're cowards out here, afraid of the white man, afraid of being themselves, afraid of standing up for their culture and history. Right? These are all the signs that you're living in the time of the red pill and the blue pill, because obstacles create strong and weak men. 3051. Obstacles create strong and weak men. Ain't that right? Look at the reaction of a man who gets a paycheck. Then watch him when he loses his job, right? He's being put through an obstacle. Most people become mood swingers, prostitutes of the soul, and controlled by material things, right? Because God says, I will test you, I will distinguish you as a believer through certain things. See, weakness and strength is basically a matter of selection. Red pill, blue pill. Are you going to believe a strong man is a strong man according to your enemy? Or are you going to believe a strong man is a strong man according to your Lord? The fact that Africa has more natural resources than Europe, and the fact that black people have more protection against the sun's rays based on their skin pigmentation is enough evidence to prove that God gets what it wants and does what it wants to do. So you see, everything was written to be like this. So I realize that the people are very they're procrastinating, have a procrastinating behavior when they see me. It's like nothing that I say is wrong, but because of the cowardice, because of the signs of the job, because of all these things that these evil scholars did not tell the people. If these scholars were real sincere, they weren't Yufaki, they would have been told the people about the signs that we're living in. They would have been told the people that we living in the last days. And these people wouldn't be walking around here having so much fun doing the fuckery. Allah said it was written that the custodians of knowledge in the Amina will say, it was written you would be Labitha in God's book up till Yamabat, because today is the day of Yamabat. Y'all may not believe it, but today is the day of Yamabat because everything has been put out. Everything's on the table now. Now you have nothing but selection, red pill or the blue pill. It don't get no obvious than that. Winds have patterns like the stars to prove God's plans over man. The Atlantic slave trade was a plan by God because the winds, according to Allah, blow and move the ships by Allah's command. So that means wind is being controlled. That's ultimate mastery over the universe, y'all. All this is because knowledge and wisdom of the of the obstacles that I've overcome. This is all because of all this knowledge that I'm kicking, 3044. This is because of the things that Allah has put the successors of Muhammad through. We know who the fuck we are. We know our status with God, according to the Moorish prince. The Moorish crown, we are the hands over humanity, the face that Allah has approached, the gatekeepers, the openers to the wisdom. We are the role models of humanity. Through us, trees bear fruit and the canals flow. Through us, Allah is worshipped, and without us, Allah is not worshipped. Do you see what I'm talking about? This is the reason why the Mahdi would be strange, a fugitive, because imagine a black man coming to people with no knowledge with this kind of message. You better know the Prophet said you got to hold on to us. Proving that with Moorish law. You know what I'm saying? I've already proven that. And there's a hadith that says that Jesus will return with the Mahdi. So even the Israelites, that's another reason why I came here in the West. It's because the Israelites have a covenant. And they waiting for Jesus to come back, Yeshua. But he's going to come back with the Mahdi. Ali said, I am the eyes of God. These are symbols. We talk symbolic. Y'all better know in truth, that no one will make it on the day of Qiyamah without one of the 12. Stop giving your acting powers to the ones in Hollywood. That's another reason why I rose in the West. Because these fake motherfuckers are out here making you cry, and you're giving them awards for being people that they will never be. Be yourself and be the true actor of God before it's too late. This is Minister Saeed El-Mahdi giving the people the warning and the news. I am the red pill. So take